Fly, Eagles, fly. And hola. Welcome back to
Hey,
another edition of Birds of a Feather. This is your girl, AJ, the Suburban Princess. We are continuing our co-ed edition to kick off the end of preseason with my boy, Eddie B. What's up, Eddie?
what's going on? How are you?
I'm good. How are you feeling, hon? I mean, we're in our last week of preseason with the Birds. As you've noticed that I refuse at this point to spend this little lunch break edition because we're doing this pretty quick. I
Yeah.
refuse to talk about the Phillies. We can save that for another one because obviously
Oh
last
yeah.
week was a disaster. So we're not going to talk about that. But we will talk about is I think with the Eagles now we have to realize that they have a lot of names to pick through. These next five
Oh.
guys that they cut, that they're going to have to be names we didn't even hear called much yesterday because at this point I pretty much already know what these backups going to be and I feel pretty good about it. What about you?
Yeah. I mean that second team offensive line looked great. I mean, wow, I was
Yeah,
impressed. Like and
backups.
that back all backups playing, they look great. Yeah.
Yes.
So I mean, and the can was it Jerky? Beef
Beef
Jerky.
jerky. Happy belated birthday to Beef Jerky.
Yeah,
Yes.
man. The guy who chases cows. Yeah.
Yo, what a game. What a
Yo, he
game.
is like he is literally a bigger, more athletic. I mean, a bigger, faster Kelsey.
It's ridiculous. He picked them
And
out. I mean, that's a good pick. That's a good pick.
he's
I
like
mean,
he's like Kelsey in his prime, man, but bigger.
Kelsey in his prime. And
Yeah,
mind you, Kelsey, even not in his prime now, is still
it's
Kelsey, if you know
still
what that means.
still great. Yeah,
So
like
if you're already training your replacement to be good in the second preseason, that is crazy
yeah,
growth.
he had one mistake, but that was bullshit. That call that he got.
It was bullshit.
Uh,
Yeah, that was that one stupid foul they decided to
yeah, but
call.
they said it was even was it? They said it when he was down the field too fast. The
Yeah,
ball was out in one less than a second. How was he down the field too fast?
that's
He
how
didn't
you
even
know the
move.
refs can't keep up. They
Yeah,
didn't know what was going
so
because, and don't get me started because I'm not going to talk about it, but we're going to have to watch these pass interference bullshit because they were missing 15,000 calls on pass interference. And the obvious one let's talk about Deion Kane kid because homie 85 was catching.
yeah,
He's like our Paul
he,
Turner again for the
he's
season,
like
the
he's gonna
preseason.
make he's if he doesn't make the team, it's gonna be only reason why he doesn't make the team is because actually for once for a change, our wide receiver pool is pretty deep
Pretty deep, right?
and
That's the only reason
talented
why.
and talented.
I agree.
I
I mean,
mean,
that's a hard
I'm
decision.
hoping that we can maybe make a trade to get one of these guys out of here to get rid of Rager,
I
send him
agree.
off to.
Yeah, Rager dropped a first down that I was kind of like, you know what, baby, it's all
Yeah,
right.
he had two good catches yesterday, but
He did. I mean, it
other
wasn't
than,
all
I
bad,
mean,
but yeah,
yeah, but I mean, I think it's we can move on and go with some of the younger talent.
I agree with
I
you. It's just
mean,
a matter of he needs a change of environment. I don't think it's
yeah, I think that's
necessarily.
what he needs because he's tried it here. It's been what this is third
Yeah,
year.
yeah.
So I think it's time to shuffle on.
Shuffle on,
Um,
and I'm not gonna be rude about it anymore because at this point, look, I feel like it's pointless to keep beating somebody down, especially when they're 5 years
yeah,
to play for the league. So it's for our team. So, but moving on, and overall, I felt very good even after the way that Gardner Minshew was running the offense
oh
yesterday.
yeah,
He was running very smooth, running ball. Boston Scott. I keep telling people, stop overlooking our anchor because this is the dude that's going to come in handy come towards the end of the regular season when everybody's hurt because we know what happens. That's
well
why
you got
he's
to,
11
yeah,
running backs.
yeah. Well nowadays you got to keep more than two,
Yes,
three running backs because
yes,
they the shelf life on running backs suck sometimes.
because
They
the
get
knees
beat
don't
up.
lie. The knees
They
don't
get beat
lie.
up. Yeah, they get
Yeah,
beat up so much.
right.
So
And Boston, to me, Boston always is that guy that comes out silver lining, like towards the end of the season. That's why I say it's always great to
yeah,
see him in the end
that's
zone.
our 5'6" giant killer.
I'm telling you, giant killer. He just has no fear. You see how he cutely jumped into the pile into the end zone for
Yeah,
the touchdown. I said he was smart. He knew. He said, "I'm gonna land on
yeah.
somebody, and then I'm gonna roll right off. I'll be all right." But
I mean, you
I
can't
feel
even see him when he jumps. He ducks down through those holes.
it was just cute though because it almost was like how sometimes they do a dramatic leap, but he was kind of just
Yeah,
like, all right, carry me.
yeah,
But he was
right.
good. And then he did the whole watch this, you know,
Oh yeah,
dance in the end
yeah.
zone. Then he's gonna give you a little something. But going back to Dean Kane, 85 was catching a lot, and then we had to watch Devin Allen, our Olympian, do the
Did
most
you see
ridiculous catch.
how he burned everybody
He
on that
burned like
field?
three corners, DBs. They were like, "What the
They
fuck is
could.
this?"
They just gave up after a
You could
while.
tell the guy was guy was like, "You didn't help." Never mind.
The guy
Like,
was like, I'm not catching this guy. Because all of a sudden he
yeah.
just shoot right past him. I'm like, oh my. I was like, did he just run right by him?
Wait, and the funny
Like,
thing was, I must have been looking down for like a hot minute because I didn't even know
the
that
play
he threw
happened
that
so
deep
fast. I
pass.
didn't see the
Yeah,
whole. I didn't see the original play. I saw the replay.
exactly.
It
Yeah.
happened so fast.
It happens quickly because Reed Sinet, like we know, he's not burning down any bridges to be, a second backup. But at the same point, that was better than what he had did the previous week of preseason. The only drive he had good was the end of the first preseason game and that last 2 minute drill. That was pretty much all he really did. I mean, there's no threat there
Yeah.
for third string, but let's talk about also what do you think defense wise? Now there were some names that
Uh,
some people I heard said we're having a little issues with the second and third string, but in general, the second string is better than obviously than the third.
oh yeah, yeah. It was good to
So,
see Davis out there for most of
mhm.
the first half. I mean, he was
um,
he was getting some push. I mean, they had to double, triple team him to keep him away.
yeah, that's going to be a thing, and which is
So,
exciting for Fletch and him.
which is good because then frees up somebody else.
Right. And
So,
we have to give a shout out to the other guys that were there. Now I could be getting my lines confused, but I know when I keep seeing some of these names that keep coming in. That Jack, who is it? Jack Anderson. They were saying he got beat a couple times, but they were saying that he, for the most part, looks okay. Um,
mhm,
LaRaven Clark was someone that the Fourth and John guys brought up. They were a little disappointed with because they don't think he was holding as well as Dillard was.
mhm.
Um,
Yeah,
I think Dillard most likely will stay here for a while until like mid-season if they can't find a decent trade because he's still useful. Apparently the dust.
he looked okay yesterday. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, if you're serviceable, you don't
yeah,
have to be spectacular. Just do your job. I mean, there's going to be times that every guy is going to get beat
yeah.
because clearly the main person to focus on as far as even O line is really Cam Jurgens because he's going to be the commander of that whole operation
Is
and
Kelsey gonna be ready day one, or is he gonna be?
they said so. I mean, they said his elbow just required cleaning up. So, but I mean, I'm sure that's partially him saying, don't say I'm not going, no, don't do that to me because I got a record." You know what I mean? Like, so we won't know
Yeah,
until Detroit actually, when they suit up, whether Kelsey
yeah,
plays or not. I think it was exciting also to see some of the safety DB action. I think
yeah. Jakar,
Josh
yeah.
Jobe is out there and Jakardi, yeah,
Derek
Jakarski.
Jakar, you saw him take a. Finally, he was out there. I think
Yeah,
he had some family issues, didn't he? In the first game, that's why he
is that
didn't
what it
play.
was?
Yeah,
Okay.
some personal issues. That's why he wasn't around.
Okay, because I felt like
So
that was the first time I heard his name
yeah,
yesterday.
because he was not there for the first game at
Okay.
all.
Well, Job I know has been fighting, and also Tay Gowan. We got to give shout out to Tay Gowan. I mean, he didn't get a chance to get that one special play in, but I think that
Yeah,
he can come off practice squad. He can be that guy to kind of
yeah.
back up. Um,
RCC boys are looking good.
well, here's the thing, and also Oregon players because Josh Job is a Oregon player. I feel.
He's Bama. Josh
Oh,
Jacobs
he's
Bama.
Bama. I'm sorry. That's what I
Yeah,
meant. That's right,
yeah,
because
he's
they put
Bama.
a
Yeah,
group photo at the end. My bad.
yeah,
Sorry. Kill me sooner. I mean,
yeah. Him and
Bama people.
there's a lot of
But yeah,
Bama guys in that game, even from the Browns. Was it didn't what's his name almost went to Bama?
there was two players that were
What's
in a
his
group
name?
shot
What's his
with
name?
I forgot. You know me and names. Don't even go there.
Oh,
It
Garner.
is
Garner almost went to Bama, but he wasn't going to be able to. If he went to Bama, he wasn't going to be able to start because Hurts was there.
gotcha. Gotcha.
Yeah,
So that they had players because they did take a group shot. I did see that towards the end of one of the joint practices. The joint practices obviously is what really keeps these guys on their toes,
oh
even if the
yeah. Get to,
starters didn't play yesterday.
yeah, you get to compete with other NFL players, other than your teammate. That's pretty good.
And you don't want to beat up your own teammate before you even get to the first preseason. I think the whole strategy this year with preseason, which I told you even before, I was a little worried about, like how much do you learn playing against your own squad.
Yeah,
So this week they're going to be going to Miami and playing against the Dolphins. So the one thing I like that Jordan Mailata said in his interview yesterday on the sidelines with Spadero was that he said that he learned a lot from Miles Garrett. Garrett I love. So
yeah, yeah,
he learned a lot about technique, and he said that he still has ways to go. But and you would know more than anybody because most guys who really love sports pay attention to how the line holds or how they grab players or whether or not
hmm
holding is really holding. But I think with Mailata, I think his whole thing is he wants to get it down to a science where he can feel like he's confident enough to be like on Lane Johnson's level or
yeah, yeah.
all those guys who've been there for a while. But in your eyes, do you feel that this preseason coming up in Miami, do you feel like at this point it's just a matter of who's going to be the third stringer, who's going to be third string DBs. Like, do you feel like there's like a lot of guys that will have to prove themselves, or is it just going to be another work a week? I mean, another week of work to you? Because I don't really feel like there's too many threats as far as who gets cut off. If you get a cut off, like you said, it's just because there's a lot of cooks in the kitchen. Like, it's not because you suck.
I think there's going to be some guys that are going to be in a bubble at that point because it's going to be what they got to get down from 80 to 53.
Yeah, and 80. I think it's 80 is too. 80 is tomorrow. Like 5 guys got to get eliminated right away, which kind of the commentator said they didn't agree with that either. They didn't see the point.
I don't like that whole like.
Yeah, that middle.
You're dropping. Now you got Well, then I got to cut 27 players.
Right, and there's tons of guys that show potential. That's why I said I wouldn't want to be the
and
Eagles
only
front
16
office.
of those are going to make your practice squad if they clear the waivers.
And some of these guys end up coming back because I mean, how many times did we reuse and let go of
Richard Rodgers,
Dick Rod. Dick Rod always shows up at the right time. He had a nice one-handed catch yesterday.
I like having him on the team though because
me too. He's hype.
That veteran presence you can.
Veteran, he's tall.
He's a safety net.
He's besides all. Obviously Dallas there needs to be a lot more tight ends that are tall because I feel like whenever you feel like Hurts is kind of throwing a rile, you need to be able to have that stretch and that reach.
That second string guy's pretty big too, so which is good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So see, and
the guy you always think is Goddard.
I know, yeah, Tyree, because he was on the sidelines. I told you when we were at the practice, I said he kind of looked like a skinny, younger version of LJ Smith. Because the same kind of tribe, light skin.
Well, I'm talking about Stott, the guy you think sometimes.
Oh, you're talking about Stott, yeah. Well, Stott, yeah, he does. I'm sorry, because the 86 and 88 they blend together.
Yeah, and they're both giant, and they're both big dudes.
Right, they're big dudes, and they're both wide. And so, yeah, Stott. I always forget about Stott, I guess, because in my mind, like I said, he probably does blend in with Goddard. Just looks wise too on him a little bit. Sorry, don't be racist with the white tight end jokes, but. No, but I think that position is pretty much solid. I think the only thing that's still going to be because I feel like when they brought in 50-11 cornerbacks and DBs, I felt like, okay, who do you feel like really improved? They had to because that position is still there's still a question of safety. They're saying now they think they still might go out and get a safety, but I mean, what do you think? At this point I can't even tell the difference. I just know that 21 made some good tackles. Somebody presented.
Wallace looked good yesterday too.
Wallace. Yeah, and who was the guy? Was that the guy that blocked the end zone from them scoring that time? Because that's the one they keep rotating on NFL.com. They keep showing.
I think when Josh Jobe.
I thought it was Josh Jobe. Yeah,
and he was it Josh? It could have been Josh Jobe.
I think it was Josh Jobe or one of those guys, but I know it was either that or 21 that was right there.
And he thought he was diving into the end zone.
Right, the guy just nope.
I was like, oh no!
It was almost a throwback to when Rodney had the player in the Super Bowl, his crotch at his face because he's stopping from trying to get the first down. It was like, hello, Rodney, meet my crotch. But sometimes you got to do that. You got to throw your whole body into it. But I do feel like there were times that there were issues up the middle, and that's why the Cleveland Browns scored as much as they did, because honestly, that score could have been totally lopsided before halftime, even before Reed Sinnett started, because I felt like there were times that the Browns kind of just ran right through them, and I don't know if that was a missed assignment, missed tackle.
Yeah, I mean, they held them out of the end. They held them to field goals, but
yeah, but still, but there were still moments.
It got to a point where they were getting through. Nobody was making any plays.
Right, and there were times that they even said there were players that were just open, and you were like, "What the hell? What was the assignment there?" So,
there's some breakdowns in the second and third string secondaries.
Yeah, a little bit. And they didn't need to what do you call it, blitz, right? Because I know that's what they were talking about.
They don't want to give up any blitz packages now.
True.
They don't want to show what they're going to do in the regular season. So I mean, that was I figured it was going to be just one man rushes, man on man, just go at it, because they don't want to give away the schemes or anything.
And I think honestly, as a viewer, I'm not gonna lie, like I really wasn't paying attention much to the game. I was impressed with the first drive because honestly, like you said, at this point, even Miami's I'm just probably gonna have it in the background while I'm making food or whatever, because I know it's not really gonna be exciting, other than just Miami. I think that I don't know if they're gonna even let Tua even play a little. I guess they wouldn't make that. They probably wouldn't even bother. It's probably gonna just be all third stringers. I assume that this Carson Strong kid is going to start because he didn't.
He's probably he hasn't played yet, really. So
he hasn't played. So go ahead.
So we'll get to see him a little bit, probably.
What do you
maybe a
think?
whole,
I haven't heard anything about it.
maybe a half. I haven't heard anything about him either. It seems like they're leaning to more towards Senate for that third string spot.
Yeah,
But
I have
who
a feeling
knows?
Senna's going to start for a whole half, and then they might throw Carson in for like.
The rest of it is just the
Here's the thing, though: if he doesn't start till like third or like mid to end of third or fourth, then I'll know that they're not confident in him. Because if he doesn't get at
exactly.
least, you know what I mean, a quarter or at least more than one series, then you can tell that they're not sure about him. Which
Well,
all
true,
the more,
yeah.
you know what I mean, like all the more reason why are you signing another Carson if you don't have a good history with Carson? If he already isn't really doing
Well,
much in the
yeah,
preseason, it's only 3 games, so
yeah.
you know what I mean. Once you were giving off to the running back a lot, wasn't that kind of a clue? Yesterday's
Oh,
game.
we already know it's going to be they're going to be a balanced attack,
True.
and we're not going to be that what we used to be is just a throw first team, run second.
Yeah.
So we'll see
Yeah.
more balance.
If they make it known in the first drive when they're in Detroit that they're not going to necessarily throw a bomb because that's kind of predictable. I think that Detroit can be a really watchable first half with Hurts and them if they're smart with their run plus throw. Um,
Mhm.
'Cause I think now at this point, I think Goff is starting to get more comfortable with that team. I think the coach, obviously, if you watch Hard Knocks, is definitely giving them some kind of confidence. Whether or not that game turns out to be a slugfest or like a 1 point win
Mhm.
again for the first game. What do you think so for Miami at this point? Even if you do watch, I don't know if you're probably working or not. Would you watch this game?
Yeah.
Would you even bother watching, or are you just more like me, just have it on the background? You ain't paying
I would like to see at least the first half, see what's going on.
same.
Other than that, I'll have it on like I'll look at the notes from it later.
Hmm. What do
And
you feel about Huntley too? I meant to ask you that. What do you feel about
I like
Huntley?
to see. I'm glad to see Huntley back. I don't think we need. I don't know why people they're like, "Oh, get another running back," but I mean, Huntley always ends up back on the team somehow.
I honestly think he's like a healthier Josh Howard because John is that his name? Josh
Yeah,
Howard?
yeah.
Yeah,
Jordan Howard,
Jordan Howard.
right?
I knew it was wrong. Yeah, but no, I think the fact that you
You're
need
in the
a return
vicinity. You
guy.
had Jay. You had the
You know
last
what I'm
name.
saying?
You had the last name
Yeah.
right. So you're good.
JH, because that's all I know he goes by on social media. But
Yeah.
when they keep bringing him back, he's one of those players that I think can still suffice as a return guy, um, if they need be. I still feel like they kind of want to force Rager into that position from time to time, but I don't think that's really helpful for him.
I actually like that kid, Covey.
Covey was fine, but he also really didn't make it that much of an impression. I don't know if it's because he was playing with Reed.
Yeah.
Um, we haven't really seen enough of him. Clearly, Devin Allen might be the only one that I think like.
Let Devin Allen take it so he can fucking sprint past him.
I agree. Because what they're both the speedsters, right? So if you
Yeah.
decide to put Britton on the practice squad and let Devin stay, but we also have to see this week if they use him a lot more to see if he's more than just a one-trick pony. Because we know he can fly past people, but can he do that on the run? They're gonna have to use him more.
Yeah.
Also, the guy they just got from the North Texas College, Torrey, he was impressive. DeAndre Torrey, I
Yeah.
remember him because he did a nice little run. Obviously, Kenny G, that's our third guy. Kenny G's always pretty. He got his touchdown. I wasn't worried about him even since we got him. I know some people were trying to come down on him for a little bit, but I'm like,
Well, it's gonna flip him and Scott are gonna flip between 2 and 3.
yeah, that's obvious. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's also availability, like you said, because we go through running backs like water. So
Yeah.
it's just a
I mean,
matter of time.
and like every team, that's why running backs are dominant. That's why no one pays for running backs anymore.
I know.
You can always get a good running back.
It should
or a
always
decent running back.
actually be the opposite though, because their needs are so valuable. I would think you'd want to pay them a lot, like for at least a 2-year contract, knowing that they, you know what I mean, they can run their foot into the ground. But I know you're saying.
That's why Kareem Hunt's not going to get the money that he thinks he's going to get. He's like, "Oh, I want money." You're not going to get it.
We're going to end on that thought.
You're an aging running back.
We're going to end on that thought because I was debating about this. I know they've thrown out other names as well. They were actually even throwing out AJ Dillon. I heard people were talking about AJ Dillon as a possibility. What is your? I do too, but what is your overall feeling? Because like you said, you want a veteran in there, right? The point of getting somebody like Kareem Hunt, I assume, is just because of the size, right? Because he's bigger.
Yeah, you get a veteran in the room, yeah, and that's. I mean, he's how much bigger is he really than some of the other guys we have?
Okay, I'll be snotty and just say I don't like him because I don't think he's smart. That's just me.
I don't think so either, but I wasn't gonna say that.
I know. Look, because I know
You beat
he's a
me to it.
female,
So
right? Because you a man, I'm a female. You know why I don't like Kareem Hunt. So
there's
I'm trying to
I don't like his pass and what he's done.
right. So and I'm trying to keep it football. And I'm not saying he wasn't ever good. He was, but last year he obviously was out with injury. And I just feel like it's so typical of the Eagles to get somebody who's hurt. But it's also, do you need it? Do you just need somebody to be kind of like, remember Dorsey Levens back in the day when he
Oh
filled in
yeah,
during the Super Bowl year?
yeah. I
So we
remember
need kind of
Dorsey.
like that. I love Dorsey. I remember seeing him, actually meeting him in South Beach. That's so funny. I just remembered that. He was a very nice guy. But you want somebody like that kind of a presence. You don't need somebody that's going to get every down, right? Because that's kind of what those middle guys are, like the Kennedy Brooks and the Jason Huntley's and possibly DeAndre Torrey. You really only need with so many guys because we obviously know that Miles may not start this week again. Um, he may not play.
Do they really need him to? I mean,
They don't. They really don't.
just,
And here's the thing with him. I really do think he does have soft hammies, but I also do think he's only good for certain stretches, and then you have to just rest him because his hammies are just like, you know.
I mean, once you start having those soft tissue injuries, it sucks.
And
they kind of creep. They kind of creep back on you too. So
right, and like, you and I both know about, look, calves and hammies. I mean, look, shit, we could pull stuff walking down the fucking street if we don't stretch. We getting older now,
Exactly.
Don't let me start preaching.
But he, I think Miles looked good in the first game.
No, it wasn't that. It was just the fact that
I want to see. I'm curious to see how they're going to use him.
I mean, honestly, this being his contract year, I think that's the only reason why he's being mentioned a lot. Because here we go again with the hammy. And I think that's what makes me nervous. But I go back to games when he was taken off like a track star, and I say, well, maybe all that grinding is starting to get to him. Right, because he's such a track runner. Like, I always go back to the Buffalo Bills game when Carson was here. Like, he ran pretty much that whole freaking offense by himself during that game. So I'm like, I still feel like his body's like, I remember that, and I didn't appreciate it. So you better just be easy on my ass for at least another week.
Yeah.
So they got to learn to, and that's why I think they got 50-11 running backs. But we'll see what happens. I know this week, like I said, I want to see the Olympian more. I want to see, who you want to see.
And for the first time, I'm actually more excited. I'm excited for the linebacker core. Because they look.
Damn it! Yes, that's what I meant to say. I'm sorry.
They look pretty. They look pretty damn good. Like Nakobe Dean. Last week he had 5 tackles. This week he probably had more than that this week.
They told him to sit early because they were like, motherfucker.
Yeah, because every time you turn around, they're calling his name because he's all over
the
place.
So I think they were just like, yo, save that. Save that. Like, he was gone later. It was like people thought he was hurt. It was like, no, they're trying to save him. Yes, because we're going to need him to knock somebody upside the head, come regular season. So save his energy.
I like him. You tell me him. We're going to have him running the middle. Him and TJ Edwards.
And then who's the other guys that are even like close to him? Like Patrick Johnson, he got hurt a little bit yesterday, but then you got my boy Sean Bradley. He can come in every now and then and help. So you just never know. They got.
We're gonna have Reddick out there too.
Hello, Temple again. Hassan Reddick, who they haven't even really unleashed a lot because they know what he's capable of. But that's definitely what's exciting is what you don't know because they're not trying to give away everybody.
And you got Kazir White, who's a hybrid player too, who can play
Kazir,
linebacker. He can play linebacker, safety, like insane. It's going to be insane.
It's going to be a lot of disruption in the pass. You're going to have a lot of guys putting their hands up. I was actually hoping they would get a pick yesterday. There were 2 times actually some guys almost got a pick and they didn't.
Oh yeah.
But I look forward to it this week. I personally will, me, I can't not watch a whole game even though I'm bored, but I'll watch it just for hoping to see what guys really want this to make it really hard for the roster because it's anybody's game, honestly. I like the problem they have now with trying to narrow it down to 53.
Yeah.
But let's not be shocked if some of these dudes come back mid-year because you never know what's going to happen.
Hopefully, they clear the waivers. I think they're allowed to protect. How many players are they allowed to protect?
You asked me.
I want to say
they're more lenient since COVID. I think
maybe 5 or 6.
But then
everyone else has to clear the waivers, I think.
I think they made it more lenient since COVID year because of all the injuries that happened that prior year. Remember when everybody was every team was having mad injuries. So I still
think that they need to up the number of the roster because okay, you add another whole game in, you're talking more injuries.
Right. You need more legs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so why it just sucks. Okay, if you're gonna do that, then allow them to have more practice squad guys.
And they're gonna play it by ear because look, they just now added those padded helmets for preseason. So you just never know what they're gonna amend mid season because of what happens as the months go on.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So, but it's exciting. I'm glad we got to get this is a brief lunch edition of the CoEd because I had to chat Eddie's head off because he knows I'm excited. I know he's excited, but I just wanted to see if he saw what I saw because there's a lot of potential on this team, and that's what's more exciting probably than anything preseason right now. It's just the possibilities that's really exciting. We already know what the starters are capable of. I think if there's the only thing that I think Hurts has to worry about is the fact that Gardner Minshew moved that offense pretty quickly. And mind you, I know Hurts likes to run himself, but I think if anything, he should have picked up watching Gardner is that you do not have to run all the time.
Did you hear what Gardner said?
No.
He's like, yeah, he can't do RPO. He's like, I'm gonna get you 40 yards. I'll get you 4, but not 40.
Because he's humble. Because he knows that Hurts will do that.
Well, he knows he's not as fast as Hurts.
He's not as fast, but you see that little shake he did in the beginning of that game. That was pretty impressive. I think they even showed what the first it was the first preseason game. It was like third quarter, and they were showing the sidelines, and they were showing AJ Brown and all them going off because he did that little shiggy shake thing.
I'm sure Hurts was laughing his ass off too. I didn't see.
I think he's always stone faced, but I think part of him was like, okay. Like he don't want to get too hyped, but I think he's in his head. So I'm just praying that he took little notes to say like, all right, if this is how he plays and I know I can run, I'm a C because he has to prove just like Lamar Jackson's learning. You got to be both, especially when you're a black QB. And there are times that I just want him to save his ankles for when he want to bring it later. He need to save that basketball moves for like November when Cowboys come so we can make them look stupid because that's going to be where that shit matters the most. Like show that shit during all the league division games. We need that embarrassment for them, especially the Cowboys and bitch asses. But anyway, we got to be careful on special teams too because you see that dude on the Cowboys.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I was like, wow. 2
returns. Okay, I know our special teams isn't great, but god dang it. If they do that like they let that dude from Giants, don't let me start talking. I'm going to stop. But I'm just saying. We gotta don't do that. Please don't let that Negro do that twice to you on a preseason game. On a regular season game. That's embarrassing shit.
Oh no,
Can't. But all right, Ed, I'm looking forward to it. At this point, when we come back regular season, I definitely want to kind of approach this a little different. So I'm gonna start throwing some ideas your way how we want to intro this and stuff. Whether or not even we do like little shorts and stuff, I think this season Birds of a Feather Co-Ed edition we're gonna do a little, even if we gotta do stuff on our phones, we do little shorts because sometimes we got thoughts and we don't have time to set it up. But Birds of a Feather Co-Ed edition, we coming at you, Ed. You take it easy, honey, and we'll talk just before regular season one more time, and then we're gonna be ready for this. I'm ready. 2022, 2023. It's gonna be on and popping.
Yes.
Fly. It's about to storm. Let me get the freak off the air. Talk to you later.
Later.
Bye. Okay. And I almost did it again.
You almost turned